was back in the day when you were doing that show with Rogan, the Man Show. Were you guys the originals or the second? You were the second host.
Second, yeah.
When you Rogan had some fucking race car that he was driving, and your parking spot was right next to him, so you wanted to go out and buy the ugliest fucking car.
I bought the biggest piece of shit, and that's why the show sucked so bad. Instead of trying to write better bits that we wouldn't even have gotten on the air to begin with, I'd just sit on eBay and try to find the biggest piece of shit car.
Dude, I loved it. You find like a two-door Chrysler K car, convertible with fake wood sides.
1980 Dodge Aspen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was painted lime green with a white racing stripe, and it was an unvertible, not even a convertible. It was just had the top off, so it looked like there's a top underneath the vinyl thing in the back.
Why did I remember wood? I just remember seeing it going, it was so fucking awful. It was awesome.
And I had the props department make up a bumper sticker that says, "I'm with Rogan," with an arrow pointing towards his car. So he had like a $120,000 Porsche. So we had adjoining spots on the lot. So, yeah.
How did you find did you find it in California?
Yeah, it was like Fresno. It was a long road trip and the scariest ride home ever because that thing shouldn't have been on the road.
You know what I love about California is that you can find those cars. They live forever out here. Like I saw a Chevy Monza out here. Remember those? I've seen like two Chevettes. I mean, Chevy Chevettes. And
you can't find those on eBay. You look for a Chevette, you can't find it on
done.
eBay.
They were like for the young people. That was basically our answer to like the Honda Civic. It was supposed to be our trying to get catch up with the Japanese people, and it was made by Chevy. It fucking died at 60,000 miles. There was absolutely nothing cool. My parents had two of them, a 78 and an 80. And, I mean, they were both gone in the crusher by, like,
I had a
88.
Chevy Citation for a while on the road. Another
with
one
the sideways radio?
No.
Do you remember the year they forgot to design a radio in there, and then they were like, fuck it, and they literally turned it sideways and didn't even change the numbers. My buddy had one. I swear to God that's true.
Do you know how much that would sell for now? Like, what we used to consider a piece of shit. Remember in Massachusetts they would have winter cars? Someone would buy a brand new Camaro,
dude.
But they'd have a winter car.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The fucking T-tops
That
and
winter
all
car right now would sell for like $8,000 if it's in decent shape.
I know. It's unreal. Our childhood is worth a fucking fortune now. It kills me, but I hate how it's all being sort of mocked. You know? Like everything, like I can't wear, like I liked when all those old school hipster T-shirts came out because I actually liked a lot of that stuff until I realized that they were making fun of it. And then it just made me feel
ironic.
bad. Like, yeah, my childhood's a joke.
Yeah, it's irony now.
Yeah, I liked all those cereals and the Tang and all the shit that we grew up with. Like, I have a lot of...
Count Chocula.
Count Chocula was the shit. I like
Remember
blueberries.
Zarex?
Zarex. What was that? That was a drink.
Syrup that you would pour into water. And it was only New England, but it was a syrup you'd put into water.
And there was a zebra on the label.
Yeah.
Zarex or Zispy, Zarex or Zaspy, so good as can be. Just remember that Z. Holy shit! Yeah! Holy shit! Where the fuck did that come from? I haven't thought of that since like the fucking 70s. That was another thing. They had all those great. It was all about getting hopped up on sugar and then watching these acid trip fucking like cartoons because like all the writers, the new generations of writers who were doing drugs and thought it was this hip thing and didn't realize, cocaine, the big lie, everything that was coming in the 80s. So they were kind of...
Coming in the 80s?
Yeah, they were kind of like steering you down that fucking road. Like to... if you watch cartoons, right? There's a shift somewhere in the late 60s, early 70s where the older people are out. If you watch, there's an old Flintstones one where they're actually making fun of the Beatles. Remember that one where they had that bug music?
No,
I can't stand bug. It was a bunch of bugs. It was supposed to be the Beatles, and like this song they were singing, they literally was monotone, like tone deaf. They were just going, yeah, yeah, yeah. He said, yeah, yeah, yeah. We said, yeah, 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 and then they'd scream like Paul McCartney.
Which is actually a lot of what the Beatles were.
In the early on,
hugely overrated band.
You think so?
Love me do. You know I love you. Really? That's fucking genius.
Yeah, but that was the horse shit when they wanted the labels control, and once they got out of that,
started doing drugs.
Yeah, Rubber Soul and fucking White Album. I'd like to say they stand the test of time.
Listen to some book on tape about the Beatles, but the guy, the author was going into such great detail about how genius they were, but talking about that dog shit 60s.
You don't like the Beatles?
Nah, not really.
Dude, okay, I gotta
Hey,
hear
Bulldog.
It. I gotta hear it. I gotta hear it now. This is very unique.
I don't like music to begin with, so I'm not the guy to talk to. I'm just not a
Really?
fan. Yeah, I listen to music the way most people listen to stand-up. Maybe once a year they go to a live show.
Right, if that.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch a
What is it?
special.
What happened?
Just it never caught on with me. It
It's
interrupts
like
me.
It's one of the fucking only good things human beings have ever done. I'm sure we had to chop down some trees to make all those guitars and oboes and shit, but I mean, generally speaking,
It's not my thing. I don't mind it. Like on my iPod, I
this
downloaded
is
a
the
bunch of
funniest
Count
fucking-
Basie and Duke Ellington shit that doesn't interrupt your train of thought. No lyrics, just nice
Doug
jazzy
Stanhope.
background music.
Doug Stanhope music, he doesn't
Yeah, I don't
mind
like
it.
it.
I don't mind it. You mean if you have to have it on?
Yeah, as long as it's in the background. I don't want to yell over it. I don't want the words confusing what I'm trying to think about in a conversation or what I'm trying to write.
I remember being on a flight with you on American Airlines, some random thing, and we were,
I think we were both pretty hungover. We took pictures together.
we did.
Yeah.
We did, and I remember that was when American Airlines, when you went to go get off, would start playing that music and their jingle and everything, and you had gotten a phone call. And I was so hungover, I forgot you were on the plane, and I just heard from 3 rows back your voice like, oh, hey, can I call you back? I'm getting ear raped by American Airlines. It's all these families there with children and stuff. I'm just like, Jesus. This guy fights the fight from 8 a.m. on. I don't have that kind of fight in me. I was just like, all right, I'll listen to it. You know, we were talking about while we were waiting for the whole thing to come back on, because we were talking about that Zarex jingle, how that came out of nowhere. But then we were talking about other things like Fluffernutter.
Fluffernutters.
Yeah, like how that.
I don't even know if they make marshmallow fluff anymore.
There's no way that they would. People are too
They
informed.
still make Moxie. You can find that shit.
They probably, but there's no, but Fluffernutter was mainstream. Like, in my neighborhood, it was peanut butter and fluff.
But I don't know if it was just a New England thing. A lot of shit I thought was mainstream. No one drank Moxie ever anywhere.
I never even heard of that.
Moxie soda?
No.
Tastes like I don't know. It was like the Jägermeister of soda.
Oh.
It first hit your mouth. It tasted like cola, and then it had the most horrific aftertaste that just made you want to drink more to get that first taste, to get the second taste out of your mouth, and then
And it was all legal.
it's
all
still out there.
fucking Do you
I have
remember?
a can in my fridge at home. I had it mailed to me.
Do you remember marathon bars?
Yeah, yeah.
They had this candy bar for the youngsters here, or listening or whatever. Marathon bar was basically, it was just 100% caramel, twisted around in like a pretzel thing, like a long stick. And their big thing was, it was so long. It was a marathon bar. It was going to take you like a fucking hour to somehow consume this
Pull
thing.
all your fillings out of your
Yeah,
head.
and you'd sit there and like you literally had to bite. It was like you were pulling a pin out of a grenade. You had to fucking just rip the thing.
That
and
was
then
one
you'd
of
sit
those
there and-
questions where we go, "What's that fucking?" And we had to describe the candy bar. Like, what was the name? And it took us for fucking ever to remember Marathon Bar.
Marathon bar, O. Henry's, all of that shit.